Education. My father was not educated at all. I couldn't call anybody and say, help me. I had to struggle myself. So oftentimes when you are from the South or from a rural area, you might get a quick awakening. But however, you know, and I think parents ought to be congratulated, because I think sometimes parents want more for their students or for their children than they had themselves. And so, you know, you going off to college and all of your family members looking, and your mom and your daddy saying, I got a daughter at college, and so I had another whole level of stress placed on me. And I'm telling you, I did not join a sorority. I did not join a lot of clubs, because what was more important to me was staying focused as to the sacrifice that my parents made just to get me on campus. So see, you all have more leisure time to read maybe and not read. You know, you have that. I didn't have that flexibility. So, you know, you ought to be commended if you are able to keep up with all that's going on in your classes. I commend you. And I must tell you, my teacher, and you know, there will be some teachers that will leave a lifelong impression in your life. You won't forget them. And I can remember one of my teachers, I was taking medical surgical nursing. I never will forget it. And she asked me, we was at the hospital in the clinicals, and she said to me, she says, what are you gonna do? She called me, what are you gonna do, Ingram, that's my maiden name, when you graduated? Well, you know, I hadn't really thought about it. But I had the nerve to tell her, I'm going back home, which is in the rural, and I'm going to practice nursing in my hometown. And what did I tell her that for? She said to me, well, that means you're going to have to do everything. And I thought to myself, everything? She said, you're going to have to know everything, and you're going to have to do everything. And I thought, I'm just 20. I don't know whether I'll be able to do everything. But needless to say, and it looked like to me she had put out a vendetta. She was going to make sure that I learned everything I could learn. And one of the things that was her pet peeve was, I want to make sure that you can start an IV. And I thought, oh my gosh. We had practice at school, you know, we practiced, but we didn't practice on live people. I think you all practiced on live people, right? Oh, they don't even know, you don't know, okay. You keep coming, you'll learn. You're either gonna have a mannequin or you're gonna have a live person, okay? So what she did, she decided that, now remember, I'm on the medical surgical floor, and everybody on that floor was going to surgery. Everybody. And so she just would come and get me, and she would make me start every IV. I thought, get somebody else. She would find me. If I'll be in a room, she would somehow find me, and she would say, I have another IV for you to start. And I'm thinking, I just did one. Let somebody. She would not let up. She continued to do that. And I said, good, I've got through her. I thought, praise God, I am through with med-surg. Thank you, Jesus. And now I am in OB. And I thought, well, this is going to be, compared to what I just finished, this is going to be a breeze right here. Needless to say, I had a teacher by the name of Marion Johnson Worthy. She retired from Albany State. Some of you may or may not know her. Looked like to me, I observed a childbirth, the whole process. She did not know that I was pregnant And so when I saw that whole process, I was just taken back. And what she did, I don't know, she probably said, I'm going to get her. But anyway, after we got through everything, you know, the placenta and all that, she decided that she was going to see what I knew about a placenta. Now remember, I'm already taken away by the fact that I've just observed what I'm going to be going through in a couple of months. And now she's going to ask me about the placenta. I could care less about the placenta. I am not trying to survive. She took it and put it in a bowl or a container, and she took me to the sink, and she was just flipping, oh, what side is this? And now remember, I'm back to my childbirth process. And I didn't answer her the way she wanted me to answer her. So guess what she did? She told me, tomorrow you will do a class, you will do a report on the placenta. You will teach your classmates all there is to know about a placenta. And I just thought, I really wanted to cry and go home, but I had too much riding on my success. And by now I'm married, you know. So anyway, I did it. I said, I just got to go home and just envision her flipping that placenta over, showing the side, whatever, just calling all the connections and all that. So I went home and I had to do it. And I did it. So I thought, I wondered, I said, is anybody else going through what I'm going through? I felt like I was the only person that was being badgered. I thought it was badgery, but she didn't. And so what you have to learn to do is take advantage of the opportunities that your teachers provide for you to learn. You are in charge of your own learning. I don't care if they never open the book. You have a syllabi, and you are responsible for your own learning. It's not in the book. It's not in the syllabus. It's not. You all are very resourceful, because you know how I know that? I don't have an iPhone. I don't think I'll ever know how to use it, but I just have a regular old phone. And when I bought the phone, I said to the man, I want the book. He said, book? I said, the book that goes with the phone. He said, oh, it's online. I said, online? He said, we don't do books anymore. But you know, when I finished school, I had the book. I have to see the information in the book. I have to circle it. I have to go back and forth over it until it gets into my long-term memory. So I thought, I don't know how to use my phone now. I can answer in text, I can do the map quest, and that's about it. But yet I can give it to you. And you would immediately discover the functions of that phone without even having a book. So what that tells me is you are very smart. And you are great and quick learners. I've had that phone almost a year. And I'm telling you, I'm still struggling with it. And when my students come to see me in my business, I'll ask them, I said, baby, look here. How to put a number in here? How to save something? And they'll just say, oh, Miss Lovett, they'll get the phone. And before I can see what they've done, they've already done it. And I'm like, do it again, and do it so fast. I want to write it down, but they say, you don't have to write it down. But to me, I have to write it down. I have to see it in black and white because of the time in which I was educated. And, you know, with the rural hospital, you got a little patient, you get to know everybody, you know, and I'm like, okay, good, everybody's all quiet, they ain't doing the vital signs, and I'm walking around there with my little uniform on and my little cap on my head. Then it's night, and then I heard something, ding! And the aide says, somebody's at the emergency room. I thought, oh my gosh, So did you not know we had to take care of the patients that were in the hospital and the ones that came to the emergency room? And I'm here to tell you that was very challenging. And there was no doctor there. You know, like here you have a doctor on call. There was no doctor in the emergency room. So I learned how to do quick assessments. I learned what to say to the doctor on the phone in order to get him to come out to see that patient. And based on what I would tell him, he either would come out or he would tell me what to do or what to tell that person. I thought, this is unreal. I never will forget it. A patient came in and she was having chest pain. I thought, now I've got to learn how, and Ruth Powell made me learn how to do EKGs. I could do them and I could read them. Because there would be no technician. You would be the technician. So I slapped that EKG machine, that lady. I started measuring the P, the QRS complex, and how many, how fast. And when I got on the phone, I'm a new graduate, and I'm like, oh my goodness. No one knew me, so I had a lot riding on what I said. And I told the doctor, he said, put him in the CCU room, and I thought, CCU room? Because I was educated here in Albany, so to me, CCU was a whole ward of people that's got telemetry and got nurses and got technicians reading the monitors. The CCU was a room behind the nurse's station with a window. But you could pull the curtain. So you know what happened? I kept that curtain pulled all night to the next morning. Because I thought, supposing something happened in there. And I would go in there and I would check on that patient. You have to be everything to everybody when you're in the rural area. You will not have what you have now. But you know, you get to know people. They get to know you. I can remember families bringing in, and I just thought this was unreal. They were bringing in peas, and the staff was sitting down shelling peas. I thought, what kind of nursing station is this? Everybody was pea season or butterbean season. They just bring them on in, and when we're not busy, they got and just start shelling. I thought, my God, it is so different. It is so different from probably where you are now. And so you learn how to adjust with your environment. Now one of the other things, I'm reminded of I'm an avid reader. I love to read. Let's read old books. I love to read old stuff because sometimes old stuff is still prevalent during this session. Alan Lurks and Peggy Payne, in their book that's called The Healing Power of Doing Good. And she says when you help somebody that is ill or sick, you are actually helping yourself. So make a commitment to yourself to always do the right thing. If you don't, it could very well come back and it may not be in your favor. But one of the things that I really want to talk about, I want to propose to you the way of a bootstrapper. See my boots? That's why I wore them today. See ya? And the way of the bootstrapper. If you don't remember anything else, you remember she talked about some boots because she had some boots on. Now, the question I want to ask you, or I want you just to bear with me just a little while. You say, what is a bootstrapper? What is bootstrapping? It's the process of achieving success by making it against all odds. You have to be self-directed and you have to be focused and your mind has to be made up. Because there's going to always be somebody that's going to tell you, you can't do it. You don't have it in you. See, a bootstrapper knows who he or she is, and they know what is inside of them. They know that they have the strength to do what they have commissioned within themselves to do. That's what a bootstrapper is. Now, you could be, and you see, let me just say this right here. Immigrants, homeless people, physically challenged people, they are bootstrappers because they've learned how to survive with whatever is going on with them. But those of us who go aimlessly wandering and want other people to always pull us up, honey, when you put on boots, you got to pull them up. They're your boots. They're not mine. I'm not going to pull them up. You didn't pull up mine. I put them on, and I learned how to pull them up. In other words, I've learned how to get myself out of a bad situation, out of bad circumstances. I've learned how to turn it around for my benefit and for the benefits of others. You're not just existing to come here and be laissez-faire and say the teacher is not fair. You have your own responsibility. You pull your own self up. I can't pull you up. It's up to you. And nobody is interested. Let me tell you something. Nobody is interested. No company is interested in good people. They're not interested in good people. Jim Collins said, I'm not looking for good nurses. I'm not looking for good people. I'm looking for great people. And that's what healthcare is looking for. Great nurses. Not just good nurses, but looking for great nurses. So you got to keep up with the times because you're not driving the wagon. Industry is driving the wagon. Corporations is driving the wagon, not you. That's what Jim Collins said. Now, you know. Since he wrote that book and I have bought it and I've been reading on it, I'm going to trust him since he's a little bit older than I am. But if you just take a look at what companies are requiring you now, they're requiring you to have everything that they think that they need for their industry. They want you to be computer savvy. They want you to have quick assessment skills. They want you to be Johnny on the spot. They're not hiring ordinary people. And people illnesses now force you to not just be an ordinary nurse. You got to be able to say, okay, this person had surgery and he or she has not gotten up. And if I know that if I don't get them up, I know they could possibly get a blood clot or could have an embolus. That's where you got to think. And if you can't get them up, then you're going to be responsible for making sure whoever is under you and assigned to that patient, that they get them up. You can't say, well, it's on your sheet. Being on your sheet ain't going to be good enough, okay? I just want to just tell you that right now. Been there and done that. And to be honest with you, I say this because I've learned that I was in charge of a cardiovascular floor, open heart surgery floor. And I never will forget this nurse, this aide. She said to me, I had worked 8 hours and somebody was not coming until they couldn't come at 3, so I had to stay because I was the only RN there. I had to stay until the 7 o'clock nurse came to relieve me. And boy, was I tired. My little leg was going, and I didn't even eat. I was just going all day long. And I was giving medicines, getting ready to hang an IV fluid. I was over the sink in the nurse's station, getting the air bubbles out of the IV bag and out of the IV tubing. This aide came up to me and she said, Lovett. I said, what? Because I didn't look. I said, what? She says, Mr. So-and-so, I won't call his name, he's on the phone talking to his daughter, telling her where his life insurance policies are. I dropped that IV in that sink. Now, he had gone down for an arteriogram, where they put the incision in your groins, and they do the check your arteries out. And he was supposed to go for surgery, a carotid endarterectomy, the next morning. So when she said that, I didn't need nobody to tell me to get around there, to his room. I got around to that poor man's room. I ripped that cover, and he was not my patient, but I was in charge. And RN had him. But the RN had ripped off the pressure dressing. And so I flung that cover, and I looked at that man's leg. And let me tell you something. It was like somebody was pumping water in his thigh. Oh, I thought, God, you talking about Trendelenburg and slinging that bed and sending the aide to get me some IV fluid from the pharmacy that you have to have a doctor's order for? You go get me some. I don't care. You go and snatch it from the pharmacy. And she did. And of course, you know, we got him stable. We had to call the doctor. We had to call the doctor. Because, see, he was going to surgery the very next day. And if his thigh had gotten any bigger, if that blood had clotted in that man's thigh, it'd been all over for me. So you are going to be challenged, whether you work in a rural hospital or whether you work in a metropolitan hospital. It's going to be you, and it's going to be you again. And you're going to turn around, it's going to be you again. That's going to be responsible. So I say that because I want you to take advantage of all your training. Don't let the faculty cheat you. Don't let them cheat you out of your education. I can remember getting my master's. My teacher said to me, she said, when you have something that you need to say, let it be something that's going to challenge me. I'm thinking to myself, well, you got your doctorate. How can I think like that? I mean, I'm just trying to get my master's. I don't know. So we, in the classroom, we stayed quiet. until we learned what to talk about. Because she was not about foolishness. You had to say, according to so-and-so theory, da-da-da-da-da. That's how we had to talk in our class. And every day she'd come in like she'd been read 10 books. So she challenged us to go beyond the simple question, the plain questions that you tend to ask a teacher. Read your book. Read things that are outside the book. A bootstrapper will do that. A bootstrapper is not going to ask you stuff. A bootstrapper will be successful because they get started, they have a sound mind, they have a vivid imagination, and they have big dreams. I had big dreams, so I was always a bootstrapper. I'm cleaning houses, but in my mind I'm saying, I'm going to college. I'm going to be a nurse or I'm going to be a teacher. And had one dime. So no matter where you are, a bootstrapper shows you how to develop relationships, how to grow, and how to nurture just not yourself. The world is not about you. I know you may think so, but it's not about you. It's not even about me. Because you know why I know? Because it'll go on without me. Ain't that a sad thing to see the world going on without me? And the world will go on without you. It will. Now, in becoming a bootstrapper, you're going to learn to be very patient because, you know, you live in a fast world, but I tell you what, everything in the world ain't fast as you. You're faster than the world in some cases. But I tell you this right here. As you go through your training, listen, don't reinvent something that's already invented. Use it and move forward. If they've already wrote the notes on this, don't go try to write your notes. Okay? And bootstrappers got big dreams, big dreams. I tell my students, listen, and they come and they complain about they don't feel that they're getting the right amount of money and they should be getting more for what they're doing. And I tell them, I'm glad they're not paying you what you think you ought to be. And they look at me like, you know, she's always been strange. I say, why not start your own? Why not start your own? And they be like, I said, well, the only reason you don't have your business is because you have not gone down and got your license. That's why you all are not business people. Those of you who are not business people, you're not, because you have not gone down and paid your 125. Thank you, Rick. Your 125 and filled out all the necessary paperwork to get your license. So when you make up your mind, they will be glad to take your 125, and you can start your own business. Now, are you gonna get rich overnight? No, I've been in my business over 18 years. 18 years, and now I just can work part-time now. I won't say it took me 18 years, but it took me a while. And I work part-time. If I don't want to go in, I don't go in. If I don't want to do it, I just don't do it. How about that? I change the rules because it's my business. I set the price because it's what? My business. And you can do the same thing. You know, when I was working at Phoebe at Albany State, I had enough, let me tell you what I did. I had enough sense. I hired somebody to teach for me while I was working at Albany State. And I paid them. Yeah, I did. They said, you can do it. I said, listen here, I can't do everything. So I paid people. I have people on staff now. That if I need them, if I don't want to go in, I got somebody coming, I said, listen here, what you doing? Are you available on such and such a date? I'm not trying to brag. Now, I'm just trying to tell you what you're going to have to do if you want to be a business owner. Because you can't do a business and 1 year you expect a great return. That don't happen. Well, I don't know, depending on what you're doing. I leave it like that. I leave it like that. There's going to be ups and downs. There's going to be challenges. And what you have to remember is that you can get beyond the challenges. You can pull your own self up. When people tell you you can't do it, you ought to want to do it. How about that? Don't get around negative people. Remember, you have your own dream. And if you're not careful, they will steal it. And you'll be saying, well, I ain't gonna do it. I just ain't gonna do it. I can't do it. I'm just gonna quit. Well, they've been waiting on you to quit. They've been waiting on you to quit. I'm almost through now. We're talking about a bootstrapper, somebody that's gonna reach down inside of them and say, I'm gonna do it anyway. You know, and if I could do it, I was from a high school that didn't teach me but Algebra 1. Let me tell you something. And when I got to Albany State College back then, that's what it was called, I had to take geometry. Let me tell you something. Y'all took geometry, right? Everybody took geometry? I'm not an abstract thinker. And I had a teacher, she was I thought she was horrible. So my first round go with geometry, I got an F. And I struggled to get an F. I don't know what's lower than an F. But then I felt I had put in my time. I would go, she said, you got just what you made. I thought, I know it, but I thought you were going to give me 1 point. She didn't believe in that. So needless to say, guess what I did? I retook it right back under her again. Whew. And I got to see her. I thought, thank you, Jesus. I moved from an F to a C, and I was well pleased and well satisfied. The question I want to ask you to ask yourself, are you a bootstrapper? Do you have what it takes to pursue nursing? Do you have it? Do you have it? Do you have it? Okay. Remember, there are two types of people in the world. Those who will do and those who won't do. Now, let me tell you something. If you get with somebody, listen, don't get with, and this probably going to make somebody mad, but I'm going to have to say it. Don't get with somebody that's at the same level you are. You won't get nowhere. Hook yourself with somebody that's smarter than you so they can help you move along the road. If all of you are in the group and everybody's failing, get out of that group. Move somewhere else. Move, honey, move. Because you're not going to be able to help each other. You're going to all drown. Get with somebody that's in another group that's going somewhere and that's passing. Go, she and you hook with them. It might take you a while to kind of navigate yourself over, but start working on it. You know right now who is smart in your class, and you know where you are. So start navigating to get you over to that group that's passing. Get out of the group if you're not. If everybody is failing, move. That's what a bootstrapper would do. They'll say, I need to look around here, girls. I think all us in the water, and can't nobody swim, and ain't neither one of us got no life jacket. Move away from there. Now, let's talk a little bit about people who do and people who won't. Some people won't study. And some people, them same people, will keep you from studying. Now you have to decide, am I one of the people who will? Or am I one of the people who won't? Now let me tell you something. If you get with a person that will do, guess what? These are people who are movers and shakers. They see the problem, they're going and fix it, they keep going. People who won't, they just go round and round in a circle talking about the problem. You ain't getting nowhere. You all look in the mirror and say, I need to stop this conversation for myself. And start moving. Start be one of those people who do. These are people who don't get involved in a lot of gossip. They have too much going on in themselves to get involved in gossip and get involved in watching TV for long periods of time. They don't have that kind of time because they have to be moving, they have to be doing things, and they have to see results. Now let me tell you something. They don't moan, they don't groan, they don't complain. They just deal with what is dealt to them. If you got a flat tire, ain't no point in you carrying on. If you don't have them people to come out there and change it, you either gonna change it or have the people change it. You're not gonna, people who do, they're not gonna sit down and say, well, you know, I got this. They're gonna say, okay, I can't change it, let me call whoever, AAA or whoever come in and change it. And they move on. Those are people who do. Don't people go round and round the circle talking about their flat tire and how long it took somebody to get there to change their flat tire. Don't be that way. They are action-oriented people. They don't slow down. If a bump is in the road, listen, the bump will slow them down, but guess what? They're going to get back up in full speed. So what are you? Are you one of them people who? Are you one of the people who won't? You one of the people who do? Are you one of the people who don't? Now the people who don't want, they try to keep people who do from doing their work. You don't have them in this class. I know you don't. They're always, let's run down here. Let's go here. I know you need to say, no, honey, I need to be studying. I don't need to go with you. Go ahead on, enjoy yourself. But I know I need to be in my books. Okay? So I tell you what you need to do. A bootstrapper is always looking for a better way to do it. Now, let me tell you something. You know why people are millionaires? Because they start a business. It doesn't work. It's okay, that didn't work. Guess what? They don't stop. They don't stop starting businesses. They keep right on until they get to the business that makes them a millionaire. Because they see themselves as being a millionaire. And when you see yourself, Les Brown, I remember Les Brown said this right here. Les Brown said, you have to see yourself doing what it is you are pursuing. So you have to see yourself as a nurse. And once you see yourself as a nurse, guess what? You're going to put all your energy in becoming not only a good nurse, but what kind of nurse? Great. There you go. I want to look around and see y'all. But now, let me tell you something. This is what I do. I tell nobody. I tell nobody. When I go to the hospital, I tell nobody I'm a nurse. I hide it. I don't tell them. Because they change. They change. When I know a little, I don't know a lot, but when I know a little bit of information, I just keep it to myself. And if something goes wrong or something about to go wrong, I'll say, I don't think we ought to do that right there. And then they'll say, well, no, they come out, they're amazed, they come out and they go talking to one another. You know, I believe she must be in the health profession because them words that she used and what have you, she's got to be. And then I have to tell them, the thing that I do more now than anything is I am a patient advocate. I'm a patient advocate, and I'm a patient educator. And I take the side of the patient. And when I advocate, it's not necessarily for myself, it's for someone else who is less fortunate than I am that don't know any better. And that's what you must become. A patient advocate. You want to make sure that all the available resources are there for your patient. So you become a patient advocate. I didn't raise sand because they let my brother who was dying of cancer lay out in the hallway. I became an advocate because I saw all the other older persons, the underprivileged people, the people who didn't have any insurance. I saw them lying on the stretcher and had no one to advocate for them. And now that's what I do. Even when I go to my doctor, I told them, I said, let me tell you something. And they said, we want you to come and talk. I said, I'm not finna come talk to anybody right now because I'm too angry. When you don't educate me, and I know I'm supposed to be educated, then we have a problem. You need to always make sure that you advocate for the rights of your patients. You're going to have to, because some of them is from the South, rural, and they can't read, and they're older, and they can't, and they just trust you. They just trust that you're going to take care of them. Now, let me see. Let's talk about this right here. I'm almost through. If you're going to start a business, you got to decide what you want to do. You got to decide what you want to do. Some people got so many things going on in their mind that, let me tell you something. All that ain't going to work. You're going to have to decide, I'm going to do one thing. So you got to start brainstorming. You can look around now and see, what is a potential business venture here? I said to myself, that man that, listen, I'm always looking and listening. That man that invented these things right here, look. I said to myself, why didn't I think about this? Some of you all have these kind of ideas, these kind of businesses inside of you. So don't just think about nursing. Nursing can do a lot of things now. You can own your own company. You can have the people working for you. You can become a millionaire. And when you do, remember me. Don't forget me. So you got to do brainstorming. And you got to be able to set goals. You want to be a millionaire. You ought to see yourself being a millionaire. You ought to say, well, I'm going to figure out how I'm going to spend my money when I get it. Because I'm going to get it. That's what people do. Bill Gates, that's what they did. Y'all know them people, don't you? Do y'all know the Apple man? Apple computer man? Do y'all know the Amazon people? Is that man educated? That little young fella, is he educated? Does he have a college degree? I don't think he does. I don't think he does, but he might. I don't think he does. So set your goals. Don't be afraid of not succeeding. If once you try, don't work, throw it to the side. Critique it and move on. Get you about 4 or 5 of them. You might take 5 businesses before you finally get the one you like. Now I'm almost finished. You got to have resources. You can't just start a business because you want to start a business. You got to have somewhere to get some money to start a business. And that might be getting it from your parents, from a partner, from a grant, from a bank, but you got to have resources, okay? Now, one of the other things I want to tell you, you're going to have to stay focused. Believe in yourself that you can do it. Now, the author of this book that I've been talking about, and this is just, I haven't even gotten to the part he talked about, because he said there's 9 steps to success. I won't be talking about them today. I only have you for 45 minutes. But anyway, Floyd Flakes and Donna Williams wrote this book called The Way of the Bootstrapper. And this is what they said, okay? These are the people that wrote this book. It's an old book, and it's a good book. I read it years ago. The beauty of bootstrapping is that you don't need much. All you need is a belief, a state of mind that is determined to take responsibility for your words and deeds. He further states you may not start from the best of circumstances, but it is a distinctively human possibility that you can succeed, no matter where you come from, no matter what obstacles you may be encountering. Now, when you look at, now see, you got to be able to read these things like, there's a new book out now. You know, there's a new book out. We talked about Jim Collins, about Good to Great. Now, they got a new one out. See, I used to teach management, but I don't teach it anymore. I manage myself, that's all. The new book out now is, okay, let me see. We done talked about Good to Great. It's by this book here is by Kevin Davis. And it's about sales, managers' guide to greatness. Now that's what they're looking for, greatness. Now what you have to do, now I'm just going to say this because they want me to say it, and I'm going to say it in case you want to start trying to investigate starting your own business. The Economic Development Division here in Albany, they're having a start your own business session. Ain't that something? And I'm talking about starting a business. And it's free. It's FREE. And it's tomorrow from 6 to 8. Now listen, they don't want all y'all to run down there. They may not have space for you. So you're going to have to call if you want to go, and they'll register you over the phone. And you never know. You in school now, but you're not. Hopefully you won't be in school always. And I'm going to give you that number. If you want it, good. If you don't, just say, well, I passed up my opportunity. That number is to the workshop. Starting your own business is 483-7650. Of course, 229. Got it? Now, listen. Finally, I must ask you to search yourself and ask the question, do you have what it takes to be a bootstrapper? You don't have to answer me. Are you a doer? Are you one of the people that won't do? Do you have that burning zeal inside of you and determination to be successful? Not only for yourself, but for somebody else, for society. Now, if you have what it takes to be a bootstrapper, I tell you myself, congratulations and welcome to the club. Thank you.